Welcome to the very first edition of the podcast on Gita. It is called as Spiritual Science Edition, and it's written by Brahmarishi Vishwatma Bhavara, whom I would just refer to as Bhavaraji from now on. So, Spiritual Science Commentary on Gita by Bhavaraji. The book I have in my hand right now is the first volume, which contained the first two chapters. As you might be aware, that Bhagvadgita contained 18 chapters. It's a conversation in a battlefield between Krishna and Arjuna. And the first two chapters contain almost the essence or the main teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Some people consider the end of second chapter as the completion of the message of Krishna to Arjuna, and rest of the chapters nothing more than expansion on what has been discussed already in chapter 2 in order to eliminate any doubts in the mind of Arjuna. So the very first volume in my hand contained the first chapters, and on the cover page it's written Dharma Chakra Pavartanaya, a verse in Sanskrit which basically means the wheel of Dharma is about to act. Now the question arises, was the wheel of Dharma not in action before? Is wheel of Dharma not in action right now? So how do we answer that? Well, wheel of Dharma is always in action. It is always acting. But what Bhavaraji means by Dharma Chakra Pravartanaya here is that wheel of Dharma will begin to act in our lives as we read this commentary, the spiritual science commentary of Bhagavad Gita. So from the front of the book, we go to the back of the book, and there's a blurb on the back page, which is basically the essence of the message of Gita from one of the perspectives, what Gita is trying to teach us. So, written by Bhavaraji himself, it's basically say the people who just worry about themselves are alone on their path. They are worrying about themselves all their lives, yet they are not able to help themselves. They are not able to do any good for themselves. But people who are able to stop worrying about themselves and start thinking about the greater good of humanity, they are able to help themselves and others in creating a beautiful society. And this is the path shown by Bhagavad Gita. This is the path Bhagavad Gita advises us to follow, that we should not do any action for our own selves. We should do it for the greater good of humanity, for welfare of others. If we are accumulating anything in our lives, be it wealth or knowledge or any sort of skills, we should not accumulate all those things just for ourselves. We should accumulate them for greater good of humanity. So any act we carry out, we should carry it out for the greater good of humanity, for welfare of all beings, and not just from a self-centered viewpoint. And that is the viewpoint that I have this knowledge, I have acquired this strength, might be the wealth, could be anything else, just for my own enjoyment. That's not the path shown by Bhagavad Gita. So more to come on this spiritual science edition, and we'll expand on what we discussed today, and we'll look into some new things in the next podcast. So thank you for listening, and I'll be back with you soon. Thanks again.